Welcome to Spoken Library, where we dissect the architecture of the mind and the secrets that destroy us. Today, we plunge into the gripping psychological thriller, The Silent Patient, by Alex Michaelides. The novel introduces us to Alicia Berenson, a famous painter who, 6 years prior, murdered her celebrity photographer husband Gabriel and then fell completely silent, never speaking another word. She is locked away in the Grove, a secure psychiatric unit. The story is told through the eyes of Theo Faber, a criminal psychotherapist obsessed with working with Alicia, driven by a deep, personal need to unravel her silence. The core puzzle of the book is simple, yet devastating. Why did she kill him, and why won't she speak? Michaelides masterfully uses the concepts of therapy, obsession, and the unreliable narrator to explore themes of unresolved trauma, manipulative relationships, and the destructive nature of secrets. Our summary will focus on 3 key narrative and psychological elements: the anatomy of the silence, Alicia Berenson; the perils of transference, blurred lines; and the unseen narrative of Theo Faber. Let us begin by confronting the silence itself. 2. Part 1. The Anatomy of the Silence, Alicia Berenson. Pacing. Investigative, focusing on motive and psychological barriers. Alicia's silence is not just a symptom, it is a profound narrative tool and a psychological defense mechanism. 1. The single word. The only clue Alicia ever provided about the murder was a self-portrait she painted following the act, titled Alcestis. This refers to the Greek myth of Alcestis, who sacrifices her life for her husband and is later restored to life, though she remains silent on her return. This single symbolic act hints at a deeper narrative of sacrifice and betrayal. The defense. Alicia's silence is the ultimate form of disassociation. By refusing to speak, she refuses to acknowledge the reality of the murder, protecting her psyche from the overwhelming trauma and guilt. Her silence also serves as a form of power, turning her into an enigma and making her the central figure in her own dark story. 2. Theo's obsession. Theo Faber chooses the Grove specifically to work with Alicia. His interest quickly transcends professional curiosity and becomes an obsession. He views solving her case as a way to fix his own damaged past, particularly his painful childhood and his troubled marriage to his wife Kathy. His drive is rooted in the belief that if he can unlock the great silence, he can prove his worth and heal his own psychological wounds. This unhealthy motivation is the first crack in the professional facade. The takeaway. The silence functions as a powerful mirror. It forces the protagonist and the reader to project their own trauma and motivations onto the blank canvas of Alicia's refusal to speak. 2. Part 2. The perils of transference, blurred lines. Pacing. Psychological, discussing the therapeutic setting. The therapeutic relationship is supposed to be a safe, neutral space. However, Theo's deeply personal investment leads to a dangerous blurring of boundaries, specifically through the concepts of transference and counter-transference. 3. Transference and counter-transference. Transference. Alicia begins to transfer her past emotions and relationship dynamics onto Theo, treating him as a father figure, an abusive figure, or a savior from her past. Theo recognizes this process and uses it to try and get her to communicate, often bypassing conventional ethical standards. Countertransference. More dangerously, Theo develops intense feelings, pity, protectiveness, and an almost romantic fascination towards Alicia. He projects his own unfulfilled desires for healing and validation onto her, creating an unhealthy emotional dependency. He starts viewing her as a helpless victim he needs to save, rather than a patient he needs to treat. Crossing ethical lines. As Theo gets closer to the truth, he starts breaking professional boundaries. He stalks and contacts people in Alicia's past, He visits her house, and he uses manipulation to encourage her communication. His actions are less about therapy and more about being a detective, fueled by a self-serving need to prove himself the one person capable of curing her. The takeaway. The book illustrates how a healer's own unexamined emotional history can corrupt the therapeutic process, turning a quest for professional success into a descent into personal chaos. 1. IV, Part 3, The Unseen Narrative, The Revelation. Pacing. Quickening, focusing on the twist and the truth. The novel hinges on the discovery that Theo Faber is an unreliable narrator, and the truth of Alicia's past is deeply intertwined with his own. 5. The Two Diaries. The story is told through Theo's present-day perspective, interwoven with excerpts from Alicia's old diary. This diary details her marriage to Gabriel, revealing a controlling, emotionally abusive relationship and her spiraling mental state. The final, shocking revelation comes when Theo discovers that the man he was pursuing, the man having an affair with his wife Kathy, was Gabriel, Alicia's husband. Theo, enraged and seeking revenge, went to Alicia's house the night before the murder, knowing Gabriel would be there. He confronted Gabriel, leaving the house before the murder occurred. However, his visit and his cruel words to Alicia about Gabriel's betrayal were the final psychological trigger. 6. The Truth of the Silence. Alicia did not go silent immediately after the murder. She went silent after Theo visited her and confronted Gabriel. The actual murder happened when Gabriel gave Alicia an ultimatum based on his affair, leading her to shoot him. Her final, total silence was rooted in the knowledge that her attempted savior, Theo, was also deeply corrupted and manipulative. She refused to give him the satisfaction of the truth. V. Conclusion and actionable takeaway. Pacing. Final reflection. Psychological summary. The Silent Patient is a master study of projection and trauma, showing how the desire to fix others often masks an urgent, unaddressed need to fix oneself. The novel reminds us that the most dangerous secrets are often the ones we keep from ourselves. The true antagonist is not just Gabriel, the victim, but the unresolved grief and psychological manipulation that drove both Theo and Alicia to their breaking points. Here is your immediate, actionable takeaway from Spoken Library today. Examine your projections. Identify one relationship where you are trying intensely to fix or save the other person. Ask yourself, what unhealed part of my own history am I trying to address through their success or failure? Recognizing this projection is the first step towards reclaiming your own stability. Thank you for tuning in to Spoken Library. If this summary inspired you to question the narratives around you, please hit that subscribe button and share this episode. Until next time, trust no one, especially the narrator.